just a matter of days, I was like, oh my God. I was shocked, just like, but everything made sense too. Like watching your dad give the food poisoning thing was like eye-opening, because it was also everything in my head that I've always said.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to meet with me. I feel like your story is a little bit different. Usually I ask people how their life has changed since going plant-based, but you've been on the plant-based journey for quite some time, but needed to fine-tune things a little bit. So I'd love to
Yeah.
hear your story.
So, I'd been eating vegan on and off since 2019, I believe. And I initially had some, great success. I was also exercising a lot more than for the first, I don't know, maybe 6 months or so. I was working with Howard and Josh, and Howard Jacobson and Josh Lajani, and just um, kind of following what Josh did. And I lost about 40 pounds, but I was also on Ozempic at the time too. Well, then I was taking the other one. I can't remember the name, the one that's every day, not once a week, and Victoza, I think that one was. And so I saw, pretty good. I saw about a 40-pound weight loss, and then it just stopped. And when the pandemic happened and I gained some back, I didn't gain it all back, but I gained at least 20 pounds of it back. And that was a little disappointing. And then after the pandemic, just kind of like could never really get in a routine of eating right or anything like that. So then we started eating out a lot after the pandemic, and we were ordering in food a lot during the pandemic, and lots of groceries with lots of junk and lots of so delicious ice cream bars and things like that. I mean, everything everybody was doing right. Just
All guilty of that, right? We needed comfort.
So yeah, but it was a struggle. And then my glucose numbers got really high, and my A1Cs were in double digits. I think the highest one was like a 12 something. And in January of this year, I'd gotten it down. It was still in double digits, but it was down to like a 10. And then doctor said, well, I think you need to go on insulin. And so they put me on insulin. And then of course I did start seeing, things coming down after that, but I was still having higher numbers. I mean, I was still on insulin, was still having numbers like in the 150s to the 190s. Right. But I worked really hard to try to get that down. And I did start paying attention to what I was eating more. And I was able to bring that down with all the medications. Of course, I was taking 4 metformin a day. I was taking the Ozempic once a week. And the Ozempic just made me nauseous and not wanting to eat most of the time. And then I was doing 50 units of insulin a night. With all that, I was able to get my A1C down to a 7.9, I think it was, in May. Seven something, and it was in May. And I was feeling good because I got out of the double digits and stuff. And then Kathy said she wanted to do this, and I was like, well, I'll just go along with you and do whatever and support you and eat whatever you eat. Because I mean, she basically cooks, so I'm going to eat whatever she cooks. So very rarely do I venture out on my own to eat anything. Like I'll eat whatever she cooks at home, but if we go out, then it's kind of free game for me, is how it used to be. And then if I went to the office, I'd kind of order in junk food, Impossible burgers and stuff like that. But then, I started out just with her doing this, and like in just a matter of days, I was like, oh my God. I was shocked, just like, but everything made sense too. Like watching your dad give the food poisoning thing was like eye-opening, because it was also everything in my head that I've always said. Like, I was like, well, everybody's fat now because of all the processed food we eat and all. And I've always said that, but I never did anything about it. Right. But now I'm doing something about it. And I mean, I can already, like, I have almost lost 10 pounds since we started that.
That's awesome.
And yeah, and I have more energy. I feel better. I mean, just all the way around, my mood's better. I want to move more. Just everything just seems so much better.
How's your
Um,
diabetes?
my numbers are they're higher than I like them to be, but your dad, Kathy and I went on Chef AJ's show with your dad. I don't know about that.
I did.
And and I was telling him, like, the day before we went on there, we went on a hike with a friend of ours, a 4-mile hike in the woods. And during that hike, my blood sugar got down to 60. And I had mentioned that, and your dad was just like, just get off of it. And you're going to be higher, but eventually that's going to come down. But had a little PTSD from all the constant checking, and I was checking way too much, and I was driving Kathy crazy. And I was just like, I don't know. And then finally I figured out on this monitor that I can actually put in the numbers that your dad and Dr. Lim said as my goal numbers. And that's going to change everything, because now I'm not going to see like, oh, these numbers are too high, because now it's going to be like, if I'm in the range that they said, it's going to show green for me. And I think that's going to help with that PTSD,
Oh, that's
and
great.
not make me stress so much. But I haven't been over 150. Like,
That's not even high.
right. And that's what and everybody, but I've been force fed.
300s. Even 300s we wouldn't be worried about.
Right. But everybody has force fed me that I have to have like 99 is as high as it can be, kind of thing. And I'm like, so that's just in my brain that I'm supposed to be between 90 and 140 was the highest I could go, but so when I was seeing 141, 147, 150, I was going, but
really great. That's great.
yeah. So they have completely, like, Dr. Lim emailed me, your dad emailed me, everybody's like, that's fine. You're doing fine. Just keep what you're doing,
Awesome.
And so, yeah, I'm really happy. And I'm so glad, the only medication that I have left to get off of now is my statin for my cholesterol. And I don't know if that's going to happen. I have blood work actually that was pre-scheduled with our doctor in like a week and a half. And I don't know if my cholesterol is going to be good enough for me to come off of that yet or not, but I hope so. If not, I can wait a little longer, because I know eventually I'm not going to need it.
Nope.
And I feel really confident that now. And I feel really confident that I'm finally going to get this extra weight off. And I have an appointment with my heart guy in the first week of September, and I think he's going to be pretty shocked too.
Well, I'm so excited for you both. I mean, it's so great that you're doing this together. You're on the same journey, and I'm really excited for you.
Yeah, it works so much better when you're both doing it. Like, I couldn't do this without her doing it, especially since she does most of the cooking. I couldn't do it without her being on board, and I don't know that she could do it without me being on board, because I may be in my old ways of, I know you cooked all day. You don't want to cook for dinner. Let me go get something. And I'd go out and get something to bring it home, or take her out to dinner or something. And we're just not really doing that now.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your time. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we sign off?
No, I'm really glad that I've met all of you, and that you're in my life now forever. And I can't wait to see what the end of 12 months brings. I'm very excited to see, what a full year of this looks like.
Me too. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to staying in touch. So please keep me posted on your progress.
Will do.